Well, hello there, friends and kin. I hope all of you are well. The autumn equinox is upon us, and I don't know about you, but it definitely feels like this year has flown by at the speed of light. I was told once in my youth by somebody who was around the same age that I am now that as you get older, time is going to start flying faster. Seems like right now in your youth that nothing gets here quick enough. Everything seems like it's forever off in the distance. You're gonna feel like that way. You're gonna feel that way for a while, and then one day you're gonna wake up, look back, and go, "Where the hell did the time go?" Of course, I didn't. I thought this guy was full of shit at the time. Little did I know. Little did I know. He was quite correct in his assessment and his portrayal because I turned 42 this year, and in yeah, about a little over 6 months, I'll be 43. That used to seem like forever. Now I realize I'm gonna be there before I know it, and it's kind of scary. But now more than ever, I value the idea that the quantity of time we have on this earth is not as important as what we do with the time we have. Seems like a simple idea, but I think in my youth especially, I can't speak for anybody else's youth, though most people I know agree with my take on this. When we're younger, we don't think that way. We think we have all the time in the world that we can dream, we can build these goals, and we have all the time in the world to make it happen. There's no rush. And then once you start getting into your late 30s and hit those early 40s, it's like, wait a minute, man, that time was gone way quicker than I thought. And it's kind of time to start being picky and choosy about what I want to put my effort into, and you start wondering exactly how much time you've got left. And this is about the time of year where those thoughts tend to turn in my head the most often, seeing as we're turning into the waning half of the year, or the waning portion of the year, and we're entering the season of death and rest and sleep. Today, for the reading for Sundee Service, moving on to the point and moving away from my tangents on entering the waning season of my own existence. What I'm going to read today is called the Druic Prayer, and this is a composition that was given to me by a friend and mentor figure from across the pond over in the UK, uh, who has started a line of witchery that I am slowly working my way into incorporating in my own life. And it is my hope to travel across the Atlantic at some point to be initiated into their line. I feel a very strong connection with their methodology, with their methodologies and their perspectives. The Druic prayer is a prayer which addresses the great mother figure, and then I have a few things to say in regards to her after we have this moment of reverence in her honor. I adore the dragon, whose body of earth, sky, and darkness is without perishing, whose breath stirs up hail and storm, whose scales drip with rain, whose eye is the gold-spirited sun, whose udders give drink to every living shape, whose womb is the wellspring of all, the empress of life everlasting. In my personal path, much of my adoration, I will even say worship, because to me, my path does fill the void of religion. A lot of people, especially now, don't like using the term religion in association with witchcraft, and that's okay if you don't prefer to associate those things together. That is entirely your prerogative. But for me, it definitely fills the position in my life that religion does in the lives of others, and I'm not ashamed of that, and I don't hide it. But the focal points of my reverence, my worship, are the land beneath my feet, and of course, my devotion to death through Santa Muerte. And I want to take a moment to talk about why those two things mean so much to me. Now, it could be argued that these are two facets of the same thing, and we can go down that theological rabbit hole for days on end, and that's not the purpose of this particular recording. The land beneath our feet and the power of death, to me, they're the great equalizers. Why? Neither of those two powers, the land and death, neither of them give a good goddamn how rich you are, what color your skin is, what church you went to, what statues you kneel and pray to. They don't give a shit what kind of car you drive. None of these things matter to them. Bottom line, the land decides whether you feast or famine. And at the end of your journey, death is going to be there to greet you. And there's not a damn thing any one of us can do to change those facts. These things have total power over the quality of our existence and when our existence ends. They are the great equalizers. The earth, which yields life in abundance, also takes life back into her embrace when its time is spent. Doesn't matter who you are, what you've accomplished, or even if you've done the most horrible things imaginable. The earth is the truly unconditionally loving, nurturing, depriving mother. She gives and she takes. She grants opportunities, she takes them away. And it's up to us to decide how we respond to that. We can either take advantage of it. We can, in very futile ways, try to force the earth to do what we want. But in the end, the earth is going to do what she wants to do, regardless of what we try to force. We can either try to force our will upon the earth, or we can move with its rhythms and engage in a more cooperative relationship instead of one of domination. Because the domination bit, it doesn't last. You think after going through the cycles and the grand course of human history where our empires rise and fall because we think we can control the land and all the nations that exist upon it, and we try to expand that field of influence exponentially with every generation, and we experience the same thing every time. We collapse under the weight of our own ego, and the land gives us a spanking and says, all right, try it again. When I think of a power greater than myself, the land is not only, to say it's the perfect example is an understatement. Unequivocally, the land is the ultimate power greater than me. And I can either accept that and again engage in a respectful, reverential relationship with it, or I can, like a dumbass, think that I can actually master and control it. You think we'd learn that, but we haven't. That's another story. But that's why the land, along with death, are the great equalizers. Death, which mankind in many ways has sought to defeat. Death is not our enemy, not in any way, shape, or form. And I've spoken on other videos how I picture death in my mind. She's not a predator, she's a midwife. She's a companion. She's there to remind us that your time's limited, and sooner or later I'm going to have to take you on a trip to the next stage. Use your time here wisely. Things to think about. Friends and kin, I hope you're all well. I wish you a very blessed and wonderful week ahead. I also have every intention of finally posting my first videos to the Green Grimoire and the Green Roundtable. I've been mulling over in my head the topics I wanted to go over first, and I was having a really hard time figuring out where I wanted to begin with those. But I finally mapped out a few topics that I want to delve into, and hopefully within the next week or two, I'll post those. And I would like to adhere to a schedule with those two shows, the Green Roundtable and the Green Grimoire, to where I post something to each one at least once a month. As far as when I do that, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just going to kind of roll with it until a stable pattern gets established, and we'll see how that goes. As always, I look forward to your interaction and your feedback. I hope you all had a wonderful day today. I wish you a happy harvest tide. May the equinox bring you balance. May the equinox help you find your own inner harmony. And as we find that balance point between light and dark in the realm of nature, let's try to emulate that internally. Try to find that balance of light and dark within ourselves. And at the time of the sun's waning and nature's power of life waning in the northern hemisphere, for me, this time of year is to start to think about the things that have yielded the best results. That'll dictate what I continue to put my energy into for the rest of the year, and dictate the goals I try to set for next year. Along with the idea of just things I need to start letting go of in general. And I wish you the best in your journey if you're trying to do the same thing. Take care, friends and kin, and I'll talk to you soon.